Hi bass players, welcome back to the channel. Tatiana is here. Today I'm going to show you how to build solid bass parts starting from just the root tone and how to add rhythm, scale tones and groove without overcomplicating things. I'm going to show you the examples of real-life practice. It's going to be songs from the repertoire of the cover band Mockingbird, where I play in Christchurch. I didn't bother myself learning the original bass parts from those songs. I just built them from the chord chart, and they're very close stylistically to the originals, so you will be able to see how I did it. The root note is basically the first note the chord starts with. Some chords look very simple, like the letter C for C major chord or G for G major chord, and it's easy to find the root tone for them. It's C or G. And some chords look very complicated, something like D minor, sus 4, 7 and minus 11, something like this. But it's still easy to find the root tone for these chords. It's D in my case. For all your chord charts, you can use just the root tones and be fine with this, especially if you are not familiar very much with the song you are going to play and you just have a chord chart in front of your eyes. It's better to start with the root tones before you will figure out the rhythm and all the other notes. At the end of our gigs with the band Mockingbird, we usually play the song With or Without You. It's a very calming down song after big splashes of energy before that. And my band really wanted me to play just the root tones there without all my passages, which I really liked to use. The root tones and the very steady rhythm in the bass part make this song very recognizable. So I play just the root tones. I play G, D, E and C, just 4 notes. And I do it again and again, the whole song. I just repeat this. Often root notes are enough to support the song harmonically, especially in pop and rock. In some songs you can come up with some rhythmic figures and you can use different note values to make your own rhythm and lock in with the drummer. You can use all rhythmic values, syncopation, dotted notes, whatever you want. You just need to make sure that the rhythm works well with the drummer and the drum part. For example, in the song Save Your Tears for Another Day by The Weeknd, I came up with this rhythm and it works very well with the drum part. Now you can add some fifths and or octaves. You probably know what the fifths are. I will just remind you a little bit. If you play the scale, let's say C major scale, you start with the note C and you can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is 5 and this is 1. 1, 5. Also 5 can be found here just above the root tone, here. Because this is the same note, it's an octave. The octaves can be found everywhere on the fretboard. You just skip a string and skip one fret and you get it. So for example, from C, you skip the next string and the next fret and you get the octave here. For example, in the song Stop Dragging My Heart Around by Stevie Nicks, I play this figure in the verse. E with 5, E with 5 again, and G and A. So when I'm on the tonic chord in the verse, it's E minor, I do use the fifth. I play E and B and E. A little bit later in the same song, in the chords are C major and D major, and I use the fifth again. I play C with the fifth and D with the fifth. And I repeat it. The song Hot Hot and Cold by Katy Perry is a good example of using octaves, especially in the chorus. The chords are G major, D major, A minor, and C major, and it sounds like something like this. I would say that fifth and octaves add power and motion, and playing them you don't even have to know if the chords are major or minor. Now using scale tones. Here we come back to the scales, and here you need to know if the scale is major or minor. The song Wagon Wheel by Old Crow Medicine Show. You probably all know this song. I usually play it very simple. I use just root tones and fifths until I come to the end of the period. So at the end of the period, when I have two chords, and in this case it's D major chords, I use a little bit of runs on the scale, and I use D major scale, because the chord is D major. This is a D major scale, but I use low seventh, because in blues it's usually low. They use low seven most of the times. And it looks like this. So I can use any runs on the scale just to fill that couple of bars of D major. It can be, which I just played, or it can be whatever I want. Now, chromatic approach. Sometimes you can use chromatic runs between chords, especially when they are located not too far from each other. It can look like this, coming, let's say, from A to G. Or if I want to come from A to F sharp, it's easy to do as well. For example, the song Weather With You by Crowded House. In the bridge, the chords are D minor half of a bar and C major half of a bar, and it repeats. I can use a chromatic run between D and C, playing like fifth. And I come to F. When I come to F, I use the fifth and the octave, and then I repeat the figure. My idea in building the best parts that work for my cover band is first use the root tones, second add the groove, then add some intervals. It can be fifths, it can be octaves, or maybe thirds sometimes if you want, and then add the movements. It can be the movements between the chords or movements filling one chord, which lasts pretty long time, even 2 bars sometimes, or even longer. If you feel like you need some movement, you can use scales, for example, or come up with your own riff if you want. Of course, you need to listen to how the others play, and you might want to take their tips into your practice, and it might work very fine for you. And of course, you need to experiment. And be ready that some of your experiments might not work very fine for your band or for the song you are arranging the best part for. And this is completely fine, because it means that you will find another way to play it, maybe another rhythm or another movement. And finally, it will all come together and you will find what works the best for the song. If you found this little tutorial helpful, please give it a like and subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And let me know in the comments, how often do you use just the root tones to play a song? I'm really interested in that. Happy grooving, and I will see you next time.